All right, we are in the 18-hole Pebble Beach, the Pebble Beach 18-hole Cup. First time we've had an 18-hole course. Here we are. They broke this up, so we got, for those of you that don't know, we had a Tuesday and Wednesday qualifying, and then Thursday and Friday, and I'm in the Thursday and Friday qualifying with my 99 account. So I've got some, I'd count them as like mid-level. I don't really have. I have a few Tour 6 clubs just because I've gotten them in chess, and it's amazing how fast. Like, I have never played a Tour 6 round and already got a level 7 just from opening up chess. Same thing with the claw at 6. So, counting out some of the good clubs like the Spitfire and the Nirvana and the Rapier, I don't have my usual suspects to go with. But I do have some clubs, and that's what we're going to play with. That is what we're going to play with right there. Right there. All right, what do I got? I got a Titan selected. Do I have any cheddar at all? Do I have any? I do. I have enough to buy 9 balls. And maybe one more, and that's it. Man, it's grim. Somebody asked me, they were looking at my odd account, and I had like 25 million or something, or 100 million, and now it has like 25 million, and what the deal was. And what happened was I got deployed. My trajectory in this game was I was playing my odd account, and I was playing Tour 10. And at that point, I think the most I ever had in that account was like 250 million. I was playing my way up, and I got deployed for 2 years. I was on the road, and I gave my account to my buddy Scooby to play. And when I got it back, I didn't have any trophies in Tour 10. I didn't have any trophies in Tour 9. I think I had a few in Tour 8, and I had most of my Tour 7 trophies, and I had 25 million. And that was it. I didn't play while I was on the road. What happened was I started playing my 77 account, because it was my practice account when I first started. And I would use it for just practice, and I played it in rookie, and then I would play my odd account and whatever. I was playing expert, and I had just gone up to masters. The thing about it is over that 2 years, I didn't have to practice. I was still playing my 77 account, and I didn't have to practice, and I didn't have to do. And the other thing was I didn't have to spend $300 a month because I was playing rookie. So when I got back home after the 2 years, I was like, man, I kind of like not having to spend the $200 or $300 a month. And I came from Clash of Kings, where I'm not even going to tell you how much money you can spend in that game, but I felt like I was saving money when I was only spending like $200 or $300 a month in Golf Clash, if that gives you any indication. But hell, if you're playing rookie, you can play rookie for, you can play it. You really can't play absolutely free if you're opening up chess and you're speeding it up. It is nice to buy a $20 pack or a $35 pack every now and then just to get you some gems so you can speed open chess and you can really go out there and have fun. This ball that's out there right now is definitely worth buying. Like, if you buy packs, this ball right here is definitely worth buying. Definitely. And that's a great ball to have, even just like at the $35 level where you're getting 80 of those balls. That's a great ball to have 80 of. All right, we're on this hole right here. My notes say, so for my 77 account, let's see here, my 77 account, I was using an APOC and a Titan. I was at the plus 15 mark with max topspin. So I'm obviously, and I think I was laying it up right here in the front. So I'm obviously going to be short of that with these clubs. But I think I can get pretty close with my big topper here hits 217, my APOC and my other account hits 240. So I'm losing 23 yards. And it's got 85 topspin, and I have 100 here. So I've got 15 more topspin. So it's not the same, but I think that is actually the best way to go. We shall see. And that's exactly what I'm going to take. I'm going to take my big topper and a Titan. I got my calculator going. I got my cheat sheet notes here with me. What do I got? Big top at 2.6. 2.6. Yeah, when I first started, I started off with odd, and it was like, jeez. I was on vacation, and like the day I came back from vacation, I started my 77 account, because whenever you're playing any of that stuff, it's not as big today because you have practice tokens, but it's always good to have a second account, a practice account, so you can go through, and you want to keep them pretty close. I started my buddy Scooby's account very shortly after that, and then I started him a practice account. So I was trying to convince him to get off of the Clash of Kings roller coaster. 3.5 divided by, what have I got here? I got 2.6. 2.6 is 1.34 rings. 134 exactly, and then I'm going to push that wind back in just to pick up that little bit since I've got tailwind today, and rub the nubs. Oh man, that's like 700 rings. That's going to be so far off down on the end because like right there it's off, but like right here it's like way off. Way off. Still got to get shot from there. And that should be, that's probably going to be thorn distance. Scooby's practice account was actually pretty fun because I played with that account and Scooby won. I think Scooby won a tournament. Maybe got a banner or two. I think he had one win and he got a couple banners. And then when I gave him odd, we swapped because that account wasn't too far away from 77 at the time. And then I went out and got a couple wins with that account. And then we gave that account to a teammate because they needed a practice account, and that account had pretty close clubs to what their main account was. And then they took that account to #1 in the world. Big time. That account has seen it all now. One backspin. I'm gonna get right up on it. What is it? It is minimum thorn is 3.7, so 3.3 divided by 3.7 is 0.9 of a ring. Let's see if we can hit one perfect. Nope. A grate to the right. That was a one ring grate to the right. Woo! In the hole. Look at that. Blind squirrel finds a nut. And part of that was when you get down in the minimum club, it gets pretty like if I would have hit that perfect, I think it would have came in on the other side. I'm gonna look at my notes here. I don't have anything on my notes. Well, I don't have anything on my notes because of my other account. I'm hitting it up to right into this area right here, so it's a short little chip. And I think this was the hole. I was leaving myself a little bit farther back than I kind of liked. Even with my upper developed account, I think I needed to put just like rub the nubs and overpower. If it's a headwind day, I'm going to have to either do an overpower shot or have to bring out a bigger ball. For sure. We'll see what it looks like in the weekend round. If in the weekend round they pump the winds up. So far in the qualifying rounds here, we've had pretty reasonable wins. Pretty reasonable. Hole number 11, another par 4. My notes say due to -5 on the drive, 0.95 times the wind. And this is another one of those ones I was doing. Let's go look at it. This hole I was doing 2 less than max top. Okay, and what I was doing here was I was doing a rough bump. I was running all my tops in so that I could do the rough bump up there, and I'm not sure. I was at the +15 mark, so I mean I was already getting max club. So if I get up here with my extra mile, I'm going to be a little short on raw distance, but it was 85. Take 2 off of that. It'll be close. I probably have to do some overpower if I want to use my extra mile. If I want to do the rough bump. I like the rough bump. I think the rough bump, if you got the clubs or the power balled in order to get you to the spot where you can do the rough bump. This would be with a big topper. This wouldn't be a bad hole if you brought out a power 5 ball to do that rough bump. Otherwise, you're going to have to lay it up here in front. I think you might be able to work your way around a little bit, but this isn't this sand trap is definitely strategically placed, and it's definitely in your way. And from the Ricky tees, drawing the line to the tee, trying to come around it, your apex points out in here, so you'll probably have to set it up here, and this is a tough spot. Your ball wants to go this way. And I've seen a bunch of people trying to go this way. I have seen some people end up in the fairway here, but most of them have overshot it and ended up in the sand. We'll have to see. I'm going to take the same exact stuff that I have right here. And if I don't like what it looks like with the big tapa, I'm going to bring out my my extra mile, and then I may have to muscle it up there. I may have to do some overpower, which I would prefer not to do, but maybe that's what I gotta do. All right, play. I gotta remember the numbers for this account. The 2.6. 2.6. I think that person was asking me if I'd bought an account. I've never bought an account. I have given some accounts away and made a trade and did that stuff, but why would I do that? It doesn't take very long to get, like if you're trying to get all of your commons maxed out, that happens really quick, especially if you play up to Tour 7, but like this account right here, I've only played to Tour 5 and I've already got 3, 4, 5 of my commons, the lower tier commons maxed out. I have been able to participate 2 or 3 times in the club card trading. If I played this account every day and just like made it my like sit down watching TV, play an account, I could very easily, probably within a couple weeks, get it to the point where it's competing in the club card trading every time. Yeah, I'd have to do max overpower if I wanted to hit that. I really do not want to do that. I really don't. Hey, I'm doing the wrong thing here. Let's just be cool, and let's just lay it up in front. Let's not try and get greedy. Let's just try and be cool. Let's go back to the red line. Hitting it perfect. Wow, I finally hit a shot perfect. That should be another short iron shot. Another short iron. Yeah, it's not as big a deal nowadays to have the practice things. Although I will say that I am a big fan of having a couple accounts that are fairly close together in club range, because you can go out on a Monday and you can take your practice account out because it's a free round. You don't have to spend any practice tokens. You can go out there and play with your practice account and kind of get an idea and really get your notes tightened up, and then go play even a practice round with your main account to test out the theory, to kind of tighten them up even more. Or you can go out and try and qualify Monday afternoon and you've got a full round in the bag. You know kind of what you're looking at. The way I used to do is I'd play both my accounts on Monday, and then I would play both my accounts on Tuesday, but I would qualify my main the Firefly at max. Can I run my topspin if I get to mid? And that's sketchy. That is sketchy. What is the Firefly at max? It is dangerous as heck, I bet you. Firefly at max is 8.5. 2.5 divided by 8.5 is 0.3 of a ring. And there's 0.3 of a ring. Perfect. Man, I thought that was great. And it probably would have been better if it was great to the left. Underpulled it. What do my notes say? Once again, that's one of those ones I've been getting close enough that I could chip it up and I didn't have to worry about a wind adjustment. But that right there looked like I needed to do at least a whole point. So 1.1 times the wind would have been times the wind times wind. Is that right? That's 3.2 versus 2.9. I think with that club, it would have been better just to add on 0.1. Goat Man. But now you can buy practice tokens, or if you get the golf pass, you get a bunch of practice tokens. I think I added it up going through there, just like if you get to, like if you're doing the $25 one or the $20 pack or whatever that one is for the golf pass, you get over 50 practice tokens for the month. I really liked it when you could go out there and play. I know when people go out there and practice, well, I don't know that because I see a lot of people go out there and they'll play with a white ball, and it blows me away. Like, did you not know that you could do it with a white ball? And hey, you could spend the practice token, they're your practice tokens, but in one-on-one, I hardly ever see normal balls anymore. Like even down in Tour 7, I've been played some Tour 7, just, not having to think. You could just play some Tour 7 and everybody's got special balls. Everybody's using them. Hold on, I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. What hole are we on here? Hole number 11. Is that? No, we're on hole number 12. Okay, I was going to say, didn't we just play hole number 11? I got a sniper katana. I'm in mid club, 1.1 per ring. Maybe play at max, 1-to-1. Let's look at this hole. I think I made this. I think I made this par 3. I was playing a rough bump here, and I think I did make this. Is this the one? I think I was playing a rough bump along this edge. Seemed like there was one of them that you could do a rough bump in this area here, but I don't think this is the hole. I think it was one of the par 4s when you're coming into it, or the par 5s when you're coming into it. I think on this par 3 I was playing that rough bump right there. And I am going to play, I think I did play 1-to-1. And my sniper here is the same. It's 100 accurate, so I could do the same thing. I should be I won't quite be in mid here because this club doesn't hit as far as it does in my. It's at 172 when it's maxed out, and I think here I'm at like 166. But I should still be pretty close to mid. What was I playing it with? I was playing it with a katana. So I might have to up the ball to a 3-power ball just to get into the mid-range, but I'm going to play it right there. I'm going to play with whatever that is, and I'm going to play it at 1-to-1. I'm going to treat it. Now, if I'm closer to max, I'll add on 10%, but if I'm still in mid, I'm going to play it. Mid club is 1.1 per ring, and if I add on 10%, those balance each other out, and it's just 1-to-1. Pebble Beach. Here we go. Herb Ignatius. Getting out on the course. No, maybe it was that spot. I think it was that spot. In the picture, it looks more like you're doing the rough bump here, but I think I was hitting back there, but maybe I wasn't. I think I was. I think that's how I was doing it, because that rough bump area right there kind of rolls like this coming up, and there is a flat spot, but you got to be really close to the fairway, and where you really want to, where it wants to sit is right here, and that's right where it starts to break. And as rough as I'm hitting today, man, they almost hit the rough right there, and they're in the rough right there. Almost. You see how it rolls? See? There's max. I'm at max, so I'm going to add on 10%. So 1.1 times 3.8 is 4.18 rings, so 4.2 rings. And I don't like that spot at all. 4.18 rings. There's 4.2. Hitting it perfect. We'll see if that was an overpull. Woo! It was an overpull. I'm going to have to go back and watch my video from, because I think I made that in my 77 account on the back. But I might have wanted to keep it at, I might have wanted to just keep it at 1-to-1. And I added on that 10% and I did overpull it. And that was definitely looked like a 3.8 overpull. Into hole. I think, note to myself, if I play this account in the weekend round, and I'm gonna have time because I'm in Arkansas right now. I got nothing to do, so I probably will play both my accounts. I might actually have time tonight. I don't know if I will. I got to remember, at my house, it's what's cool about my house and where I live out in Oregon is that everything rolls over at midnight. So the tournament's over at midnight. Tournaments start at 12:01 in the morning, and so it's really easy to do. But here it's 2 o'clock in the morning, so I was looking at my clock and I was like, man, I gotta play another 2.5 hours. That's gonna be pushing it. But I gotta remember that I have more time here. It doesn't roll over until 2 o'clock in the morning. Not that I'm gonna stay up till 2 o'clock in the morning. I can tell you that right now. That is not gonna happen. I won't make it till 2 o'clock in the morning. Hole number 13. Hole number 13. Hole number 4. All right, this is the straight up the gut. And I was pulling my APOC back to the +6 mark with 4.5 topspin, so I wasn't using it all. So I should be able to easily get to the same spot with my big tapa. The big tapa. Well, let's think about that before I get on it. Okay, my APOC hits 240. I'm at like 217. That's 23 yards difference. But I was pulling back to the +16 mark. So here I could keep it at the +6 mark, and here I could keep it at the +16 mark. And I was only using 4.25 topspin, so I should have no problems. I think I have better ball guide. Let's see what my ball guide is with my, it's got 2.6 versus, what does my extra mile have? I think it might actually have more, 3. I might be able to take that with the extra mile, just take it straight up. I won't have quite the feel for where it's going with the ball guide. I can't remember, but it seems like a level 9 extra mile's got like 3.6, 3.2. I think it does roll over 3. If we can find an opponent. If. The big IF. What I don't want to do is get on the green. I don't want to be a long ways away from the green. I want to be right on the fringe, but I want to be on the front of the fringe. Am I going to be able to get up there? Oh yeah, I got plenty of room. There's 4. That's at the +5 mark. I'm going to pull up to the +8 mark. I'm going to have to put a little bit of curl on that. 2.6. It's 2.1 per ring, so that should be like a ring and a third. Somewhere in that neighborhood. Put a little bit of curl on it to bring it back. And a 1 ring grate to the right. That's going to kill me. I might have put a little bit too much curl on there, but that grate to the right is going to kill me right. Ooh, right there. If I could have made it past that one, I'd been all right. A perfect would have been perfect. because I think I would have ended up stopping somewhere in that neighborhood right there and stayed out of that sand on the left. Need to hit it perfect. I was hitting that Firefly earlier, and I said at minimum club, was I at minimum club? I think I screwed that up. I did play my Firefly at minimum club, and I was at max. I played at minimum, it was 8.5, and at max it's 2.2. I should have played it at 2.2. That was bad. That was bad. That was a bad move. All right, I made a mistake. Come on, give me a break. That was way off. Way off. Distance looked good though. Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking on that Firefly earlier. I don't know why I was thinking minimum and I knew I was at max. I looked at the thing and I think the first number I saw was the max number and I went with it. The weird thing is I was only I was just a little bit off, like plus 1 or 2 off, so I'll have to go back and let me see if I have that in my, I don't have it on here. I've been recycling instead of on my calculator, so I can't go back. Instead of all clearing it, I've been just using the back button and just erasing it all and then putting in new numbers. Why? Why? What are you thinking? I do like my chances on all of these holes. What would benefit me, and once again, this is why it's so important to record your own videos, because this is the first time I played it with these clubs, and just going back and watching the video and seeing what I did, number one, you got to hit perfect. But seeing what I did on there and having a note sheet for this account and this account alone, so I'm not trying to extrapolate what I did with my upper developed account and what I could do here, but at least get an idea of what I'm looking at. It would be better. It might be. It might. It is nice on some of these holes to know how much topspin to put on or spin if you're in the same spot, especially on the par 5s and you're in the same spot and you know how much spin to put on just because you see somebody with better clubs. Hole number 5. All right. In my upper developed account, all I'm trying to do is get right here. So I've got a straight up shot at it. And this is another rough bump. I'm not trying to get around the corner or try and get anything extra. Just tapping it out there. And I was actually pulling back here too. I was pulling back to the plus 10 mark with max topspin. So this sounds to me like another great hole for the big topper. That's right. You heard it here. And we're definitely going to be at max club. So that's 2.6. So it's the wind. Was I doing anything extra? Nope. It's the wind divided by 2.6. And I'm going to make up for lost distance by pulling from the plus 10 to the plus 16. There's 6. I'm not sure how that equates out on the marks. Like a certain ball hits further, like I'm assuming that it must have some relevance to yards. Does it say how many yards? What does it say on these balls? I'm going to have to look that up. I know that there is, but I have really just never paid attention to that. I do pay attention to the plus marks, but I've never actually sat down and looked for what the difference is. Like if you're at plus 15 and you're at plus 16, what does that equate out to in yards? Do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do. Now let's try and be right dead center in the middle so I can give myself, if I don't hit this perfect, 0.84 of a ring. There's like 0.8. There's like 0.84. That's eking 0.9. Hitting it perfect. And my upper developed count, I'm getting to 372, so let's see what I got right there. 362, not bad. In my other account, I'm at mid grizzly, so, or I'm at minimum grizzly. So here I'm probably going to be like mid Saturn. Mid Saturn hits 2.4 per ring. I was doing +0 to the cup, so I'm going to stick with that wherever I'm at in my club. The wind divided by wherever I'm at in my club, whatever that is, that's how many rings I'm pulling. Doing the rough bump, and I've made this hole as well. We got an Albie shot right here. Right here. Am I going to get there with my Saturn? Let's see. There's Max. There's mid. Oh, I'm still at mid Saturn. That's excellent. Excellent. I am. And mid Saturn is 2.4, so 4.5 divided by 2.4, 1.87 rings. Let's say 1.9, just for safety. There's 1.9. Oh man, I was so far off on that. That was a solid, I would say a solid 2 rings off. AKA 47,000. You know, in my lifetime, I've probably played 1,000 rounds of golf, real golf, out on the real golf course. And I played maybe 100 of those rounds I haven't played from the white tees. Because we've gone to some courses where we played, I was playing in a tournament with the men's club, or played after a tournament and played there, and we played from the tees. I played one course from the gold tees, but I would say the mass majority, at least 90% of those, I've played from the white tees. You know, just an average rookie golfer. And I've never ever played where the group behind me was playing from a farther away tee. And I have had that happen many times where the people behind me were playing from a further back tee, where I went out there and there was like a 6-mile-an-hour wind, and because they were playing from the further back tee, all of a sudden they turned the fans on, and then we had a 27-mile wind. I've never had that happen. I have had that happen in Golf Clash though, because like I'm playing right here and I got a 4-mile-an-hour wind, and the people behind me are playing from the pro tees and they got a 12-mile or a 6-mile-an-hour wind or a 7-mile-an-hour wind. And the experts are playing with a 12-mile wind, and we're all playing. I played, and then the pros played, and then the experts played, and the wind went up, and then the next hole the wind goes back down. The deal there is you just have to pick the right time to play. That's the whole thing. Come on, man. What are we on? Hole number 6. Is that right? Yeah, I was having a hard time. It was an issue getting in front of this to try and get your run to the cup. I really think I was trying to play it on this side right here, but I suppose if you're going to use curl, you're like playing it over here, and then your ball's going off like this, and you're trying to pick up the curl. But I think there was, with a 3 power ball, what do I got on my notes here? APOC Kingmaker, and I was bringing out a Kingmaker because of the side spin. I pulled back this as well. And I pulled back to the point where I was only like a couple rings in front of this. I wasn't right up against it. I usually like to leave 2 rings of separation, and I think I was right on the verge of being inside of that. I was like 1 3/4 rings, or right at 2. I was pretty close to that. So even with my extra mile here, if I won't be able to pull back, I'll be in that same range And what was I doing as far as topspin? I don't have topspin written down, so I'm not sure if I don't think I was using max topspin. I'm going to play the same thing here. I'm going to play with my extra mile. Because here you do need the raw distance with that. And I'm going to play with that. Do I have any kingmakers? Do I? I do. I have 6 of them. I'm going to play with one. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. See what happens. What happened is, I do have a note here. I was doing 1 1/4 topspin, so it doesn't take a lot of topspin. I was pulling back to the plus 10 mark, and I was using 1 1/4 topspin. So my extra mile hits 234 versus the 240. So we're 6 off. So I may have to push it forward to like the plus 14 or something in that range, but I don't need to use a lot of topspin. Is this me? No, it is not me. I was like, wait a second, over there. Are they waiting till the last second? They are? Or am I going to get a free shot here? I am. Swoop, swoop, swoopy doop. 99. My shot. Okay, can I get in front? Man, I'm barely in front. That's what I'm talking about. Barely. There's 1 1/2 topspin. I think I'm going to stick with the 1 1/2 topspin. I mean, I do think I need to be just a little more side spin. 3.8. That's pretty much 2 rings. Man, I'm getting a little lag there. I didn't even notice if that was perfect or not, but I did get a little laggy. And that's off the back. Woo! I got lucky. I didn't roll off the back there. Just a little, just almost too hot. Almost. Just a little teeny bit of topspin. Now, see, they timed out, and then it threw them, and it did the same thing to me on the same hole the other day, where I timed out. I was checking it out just to see what kind of ball I needed to bring and how I wanted to hit it, and then when it came back to it, it had thrown me in the rough. Play Demic, that's BS. And on some of the other holes, it threw me where I was having to hit. I was still on the tee box, but it put me off the tee, and it was making me hit it with my wood. Okay, I didn't take my shot. I'm still on the tee. Perfect. Eagle in the hole. Okay, that hole right there is definitely doable. Definitely. Okay, let's look at this hole, because this is another hole that I don't think we could get all the way up to the green. I think, is this hole number 16? This is hole number 16. Yeah, I tried just coming out here without, I'm not sure if, I think I did do overpower and tried to muscle it where I got, with just a 3-power ball from here, and tried to muscle it over to get the rough bump. I actually wasn't too far away. I came out into this area right here with a bunch of curl, and I did a max with a 3-power ball with just I think I used a Kingmaker. I might have used a Titan, and I ended up right here in the sand. But if I'd had like a 1 or a 2 topspin ball, I had my first bounce here, and then it was like second bounce in the sand. If I'd had a 1 or 2 topspin ball, I probably could have got there. But if we have a headwind day, that shot's going to change every time. It's gonna be a little bit different. It's going to be hard to replicate. It's not that you can't get over there, and if you took that shot 100 times, it's not that you couldn't get over there 30 of them. but 30% is not what we're looking for. Laying it up and having a great shot to the cup every time would be good. And I was at mid thorn from right up here, and it was plus 0 minus 0.1 to the cup, and I made this one as well. Those numbers worked. If I'm going to lay it up down there, I'm going to take this bag right here and see if I can get away with that. And I'm going to take a Titan again. Let's make sure we got a Titan, the king of balls selected. Because if I'm just laying it up down there, let's bring out our most accurate club. That's got the best ball guide that I have. If it'll work. My notes say I did 3 topspin with my APOC and I was orange ring off. I'm not sure if I pulled back from the plus 16 mark or if I was at max club. So we'll have to see. We shall see. I suppose you could count it as yellow ring. It looks, or red ring. It looks orange to me. It is an orange. It's the same. It's a very similar color to the wind direction arrow, and that is definitely orange. And I really don't like thinking of it as the green ring. It's the clear ring. And you can go, well, it's green right there. It is, but put it over the sand and it's white. So that means it's transparent. Yeah, and we don't want to do that. 2 things there. Number 1, you're in the rough. And number 2, you're behind the freaking tree. And they are going to be, there's a word for that. It starts with an S. You use your drill to put them in. It's bad. That's what that is. It's bad. I'm going to put all of it and put like 1.5 topspin, and I'm going to move over just a little. Where's that put me as I'm going down the hill? I think that's perfect. 2.5. 2.5. And what did I have on there? I had like 1.5 topspin, 2 side spin. And a 47 ring great to the left. And I'm too close. And I'm in the same exact freaking boat as my opponent. I might have at least the shot where I could curl it around it, but I overhit that, and that was a combination of 2 things. That was a little bit too much topspin, but I hit that great to the left, that 2 ring great to the left, and put me here. But if I'd hit it perfect, I'd have been right in the clear, straight up shot to the cup. The key there is I didn't really need that distance. So to play it safe, hell, you don't even need any topspin. I think they can recover from there if they play that right. I would pull it back. I would pull it back into this area where you can't even see your ball guide, because you know you're going to put curl on it. They don't have that much curl, but let's see if they can get it, if they can recover. I think I could have gave that a better college try, but we're going to find out, because I'm going to have the same kind of deal. Yeah. So let's try and get where we think we can go. So what I'm looking at is, do I have the distance right there to make it to the cup if I put curl on it? Because I think I have that much curl. I think I need to be like right in there. 2.8. I don't know where I'm at in my club. What is it? It's 2. I'm going to do 1.5 rings. 1 and a little. 1 and a third. 1 and a quarter. Max curl. Hitting it perfect. If I would have had a little bit more curl in her to get up there, that was actually, that ball was rolling. It would have been rolling in front of the cup out in this area, and then would have been rolled up to it. So if I'd had my trajectory right, that would have had a shot. Woulda, coulda. I can't keep track of how much these clubs have in curl, so I do like to play with curl, especially on one-on-one. Not so much in tournaments, especially when you're taking the shot to the cup. I mean, I'm sure that there is some hole out there on the shot to the cup that you have curl on it, but that's one of those ones where you're not really trying to make it, you're just trying to get on the green. I can think of some of the par 5s that are out there that are the par 5s that are birdie holes with an eagle opportunity as opposed to eagle holes with an albie opportunity, that you just want to get on the green to get your birdie. And if you can make eagle, you can make eagle, but the birdie is hard enough. But usually you don't put a lot of curl on. But in one-on-one, I use curl all the time, because in one-on-one, I'm not always in the right spot, and I'm using a low-power ball, and it's like, hey, get on the green, force your opponent to get up there, and roll. Hole number 17. Now this hole right here is a par 3. And what was this hole? I think there was a rough bump on this hole as well, right? It was in mid-thorn with the katana. I think there was a rough bump on this one as well. Pretty sure. Maybe I'm wrong. And I had a katana. And this thorn doesn't have, what kind of distance does it have? No, it's pretty close to max distance. And that might be about as close as it gets. I mean, it might have a little bit more to go, but I should still be in mid-thorn. Mid-thorn on this account is 2.5 per ring. What was I doing here? I was doing -1 of the cup. So it's whatever the wind is divided by 2.5 minus 0.1. Let's go. I didn't write it down whether I was just taking a shot straight up to the cup or whether I was doing a rough bump, so I have no clue. No clue. None. Nada. Zip. Zilch. Yeah, man, was I doing a rough bump on this? No, I think I might have been going straight at it. No, I might have been doing a rough bump. That area right there is definitely screaming rough bump. That's funny. I was talking about earlier that I got deployed and I went out that year. It was right at St. Patrick's Day. It was the first time I hadn't played my 77 account in a tournament, and I let my buddy Scooby play my accounts, and it was the first time I didn't make the tournament. Scooby never did the wind ring stuff. That wasn't his lookout. His big bitch about the wind ring method was, if you do the wind ring method, you got to hit perfect. But if I don't use the wind ring method, I can still hit great and it might go in. That's Scooby thinking for you. 1.26. Perfect. Dead center perfect. That might have been the first dead center perfect all day. Just a bit outside. If I hadn't minus the 0.1, that would have been perfect. That would have been in the hole. In the hole. Yeah, I went to Washington, D.C. when that happened. And it snowed. And it was whenever St. Patrick's Day is. I don't know, I can't remember what month that's in. But it was brutal snow. I drove from the West Coast to Washington, D.C. I was in Virginia right there. And, well, I wasn't in Washington, D.C., but I mean, you were right there. It was Fredericksburg or right in that area. And I kept trying, I was racing the snow. It was snowing behind me, and I ended up going, I didn't take, normally if I was driving to the East Coast or something, if I hardly ever drove, I left a vehicle in the Midwest and then I flew to it. But I had taken my vehicle home, and I would normally have taken 80, but it was all snowed out. So I drove down into California, and I took 40 across the country. And of course, it snowed the whole time I was on that road. All the way across, it snowed. My dad would call me every day and laugh at me. He's like, you went all this extra distance to get away from the snow, and now you're in the snow the whole freaking way. I'm actually thinking in this account, I might do what I recommended in my, if you get out in here, there is a rough bump that you can do underneath the tree to go at it. And that's what I was doing in my main account. I was trying to get right here, and I was doing that rough bump underneath the tree. I kind of like that. But the other way you could go is you could lay it up out here and do a sniper shot. But I'm not sure exactly. I haven't taken that shot, so I'm not exactly sure where to lay it up. You'd pull your sniper out and you just like out in this area and not try and get that extra distance. You'd probably be at minimum sniper. And then you could just take another sniper shot and you'd have a clear shot if you wanted to do that. But I want to try and do the rough bump underneath the tree with my Saturn. So I'm just going to tap it out there. And when I was pulling it back to the +3 market with 4 top spins, so I think I can still get that done with my extra mile. Extra, read all about it in a Titan. The King of Balls, here we go. I have no notes as far as anything extra on the drive, so I'm just going to do whatever the wind is divided by 2.1. Last hole. I really was not paying attention there as far as like where I'm at, as far as score or where I am on the ranks. I haven't paid attention. Here we go. See if my opponent can get out there. They did not adjust for the wind. They do have a little bit of left-hand curl on it, but that's definitely going to push them off to the right. The fairway's about a half a mile wide, so it's not going to be that big a deal. They got a nice straight up shot. I think I actually want to get a little closer than that. Okay, so I was pulling back to the +3 mark, so I'm going to pull back to the +8 mark. I was putting on 4 topspin. There's 3, 4 topspin. And see where that puts me out there. 3.8, 1.8 rings. And that's probably 185. Perfect. Man, I felt like I hit that one great too. It felt like I got a little lag right there. I mean, it jumped, and I thought, man, when it jumped like that, it's going to be great. And it was perfect. I'll take it. And I did not write down what distance I'm getting in my 77 account, so I'm not sure. I think that's probably, I don't think I'm getting much further. I'm getting right there at that point, right in line with this point that's here. So I think I'm pretty close to where I am. And we're going to take this. I was doing +10 at mid club, or at minimum club. So 1.1 times the wind, wherever I'm at in my Saturn. Okay, where am I? There's min. Okay, so I'm at min club, so it's 2.8. So it's 2.3 divided by 2.8. 0.9 of a ring. .9 of a ring. Let's try and get, let's get lined up with the wind here, boys. 0.9 of a ring. Hitting it perfect. Woo! In the hole! Look at that. Even the blind squirrel can find the nut. Excellent. Excellent. Nice. Now, in my 77, here's the deal. Anybody who doesn't understand this, like anybody who's been playing the game for a long time, so for those of you that are watching the channel that haven't played for a long time, you may not know this, but anybody who's played for a long time that doesn't know this is either kidding themselves or they just haven't been paying attention. We have Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3. Okay, and within those tiers, they have more tiers. And I don't know how it works up here as far as the tiers, but down here, there's definitely a bunch of tiers within tiers. So like when I'm playing my 77 account, you can watch my opponents, and I have a bunch, and it's not every one of them, because some people rush themselves up to do and they get a big trophy count and they rush themselves up, but lots of these people have APOC 8s, and I got the same, they're playing with the same exact equipment as me. I'm not playing against somebody who has brand new stuff. It's the tiers within tiers. So in my 77 account, I really think you're going to have to shoot, I mean, you're really going to have to shoot like it's going to be what, a 32, or it's going to be pretty big. I think you got to shoot a 16 aside. You're going to have to be better than a 32 in order to get, and there's no guarantee you'll get a banner there or win, but I mean, if you want to be in the hunt, you're going to have to shoot a 32 or better in order to be in the hunt. But in this account, I'm not sure if I'm still in, I think this account, I'm not sure if this account's in Tier 2 or Tier 3, but I don't think we're going to have to get to that level. And so I'm not sure what it'll take to win or to be in the hunt. Let's see where that put me. Put me in first. Yeah, and so we got a 24 there. And I would kind of like it if they did this right here where they had 100 people in the bracket, because we're playing 18 holes instead of I mean, you're still going to get 50 people that are going to make it. You're going to get half the bracket that's going to make it. But I'm kind of surprised, like, has everybody played? No, not everybody's played yet. We still have a little bit of time for people to play, but I mean, even if this person continues to play, or this person continues to play, we're not going to, it's going to be tough for them to get to that point. But I'll be curious to see what it takes to win for this tier bracket versus what it takes to win in my 77 bracket. The way it used to work, because they've changed it several times over the years, the way that it used to work was if you had made it to, when you played in your bracket, every single person that was in your bracket, if you were an expert or had ever been an expert, everybody in your bracket was an expert. And the way it worked was you had to be an expert for 2 weeks in order to where you were locked in as an expert player. So what you'd get, some people would yo-yo up and down. They would go, especially like in rookie, they would go from rookie to pro, and then they would drop back down and they wouldn't be a pro anymore, so they wouldn't get locked in as a pro. So they were always playing against rookies. But if you had been an expert, like my 77 account was an expert, so everybody in my bracket was an expert. They were either a current expert or they had been an expert. If the next tier up, everybody in there was a master or had been a master. And so if you rushed your account up and you were like, hey, I want to do the master's thing, or I want to be an expert because I get more stuff in my chest, then you were putting yourself into the bracket where you're going to play those people. And I'm not sure how they do it now, but we all know that there's tiers within tiers. So I'll just be curious to see what it takes in this account to be up towards the top. Like whether the 27 is a stout score, because there was a bunch of holes out there that I didn't do very well on. Or whether or not the 27 is, like in this bracket, the 27 is good, but in overall, that's not a really good score. We'll have to see. The other thing I liked about the olden days was if you stayed up until midnight on Friday night, or whenever the tournament rolls over for you, whether it be 2 o'clock in the morning or midnight or whatever it was, the second that the tournament opened, if you got into a bracket instantaneously the bracket was full, because it was everybody who had logged on at that point that was ready to play the tournament, and you'd log in and you would get it and it would be full. I was in tournaments where there was 100 and I think the most that I ever had in one bracket was like 112, but 106 happened on a regular basis, 102, because there were so many people that logged on instantaneous at the exact same millisecond that they couldn't separate you out, and so the brackets ended up having more than 100 people in them. And what was cool about it was you could go in there and you could tell exactly where you stood. So if you got into a bracket and you looked and you were number 9, that means you were the 9th highest coming into it. You had the 9th highest score. You had 8 people above you that could beat you if you shot the same round, because they had come in better than you. And it gave you an opportunity to see, like, are you coming in as the number 1 qualifier in this bracket? Or are you coming in as the number 27th? And then you could go up to the top and kind of see what those people had, to see what you were going to have to do in order to beat them in tiebreakers. Like, you were really going to have to shoot a good score. But now where they've got the brackets kind of predetermined, and you go in there, you can go in there and see, like, who still hasn't played, and if they're above you and they're still at 0 holes played, you can get an idea. But you don't know how many other people in the bracket were higher than you and have already played a hole. And people can come into the bracket late that had a better qualifying score than you. And I don't know, I kind of liked it better the old way, but that's how they do it today, and that's how they do it. But we do know that there are tiers within tiers, so I'm curious to see, like, with 99s, where they're at in the tier, how that score holds up as far as, good scores in the weekend round. We'll see. And I will have time this weekend. I think I'm going to play both these accounts this weekend, and we will see where I can finish up. Have a good weekend. Stay safe. Have fun out there. If you're not a subscriber, hit subscribe, hit the like button, ring the bell. Leave me a comment, do all that good stuff, and I will see you next time. Stay safe, my friends.